Einen wunderschönen guten Tag, herzlich willkommen, a warm welcome everybody.
Hello and a warm welcome everybody to the Juventus kick-off and to the ALMA Network meeting. It's so good to have you all here. First of all, a small piece of information about translation. We do have German and English-speaking participants, both on the panels but also in the audience. This is why we will have simultaneous interpretation, and you can help yourself to the receivers and headsets so that you can follow the translation.
It has a receiver on which you can select two channels, so one German and one English, so that you can understand everybody and everything we're speaking. Der Webstream, der wird automatisch simultan übersetzt. Und an dieser
The webstream will be interpreted also simultaneously, and I would like to thank our interpreters. They are not in the room, but in the booth. It's Martina Niesen and Lili Wilding. They will support us today with interpreting. I think this is a real tough job, the moderator says, so a big applause for the interpreters. Thank you very much from the interpreters. We haven't done very much so far, but thank you.
My name is Karina
Jansch, and I will be your host for the next 2 hours, and I'm really glad about that. So let's start. First of all, we have the kick-off of the ALMA Network at European Union level, and at the German level we'll have the kick-off of the JUVENTUS program. One is part of the other, actually. ALMA. What does this mean? What's behind these 4 letters? It means aim, learn, master, achieve. So I'll repeat it in German, so it's the same combination of letters in German as well. And to be more specific, it's about giving young, disadvantaged people throughout Europe the possibility to go abroad for a work experience and to make it possible for them to get better integrated in their domestic labor market. You can perhaps imagine what such a stay abroad can mean. It's about developing your own personality. It's about self-efficacy and self-effectiveness, and sometimes it's also about getting a chance for a new start, a restart. ALMA is implemented at the national level by the member states, and in Germany this is the JUVENTUS program. So today we have representatives from the ALMA Network from all over Europe, and we have JUVENTUS project operators and interested parties, those who want to become project operators. We would like to get in touch today, we would like to network, and we would like to get to know each other better. Therefore, we will use Slido here in this room and in the virtual space. Who is familiar with Slido? Who knows Slido? Please raise your hands. Yes?
Wunderbar.
Thank you. If not, your neighbors will certainly help you with the questions. We are about 100 people here in the room in Berlin. There are many who are following us online, virtually. We do not know where these people are, not yet, but of course we would like to know where they are. Therefore, we are going to have a poll. You can see this QR code. You can scan it with your mobile phones, or you take part via browser www.sli.do. Where do you want me to go? Oh, I don't want. You shouldn't have the impression that you want to take a picture of myself. Maybe I'll still think that it's me whom you want to take a picture of. But of course, it's the information and the scan and the code. So let's come to the poll. The question is, where are you from? Tell us, where are you from?
You should type it in.
You should type it in. Just type it in.
Und im besten Fall, genau, baut sich hier eine
And in the
Word
best
Cloud
case
auf, eine
scenario,
Wortwolke auf
a
dem
word
Screen,
cloud
den
is
Sie
going to
mal
develop.
kleiner
Oh
halb
yes,
links sehen.
we can already see it on the
Und mit
screen.
Word Cloud ist das so, dass der Begriff, der am häufigsten
In the word
genannt
cloud,
wird, am
the
größten
term
erscheint.
that is most
Nichtsdestotrotz
often mentioned is
einmal kurz
biggest.
dieses Bild, um mir das auch
And
mal anzuschauen.
I'm moving over to the
Ja,
other side.
also Germany
It
haben
looks
Sie
as
als
if
große Überschrift.
Germany
Das
is
nochmal
the
unterteilt in zum Beispiel Ludwigslust.
location where most
Bisschen
people
ein
come from.
kleinerer Ort.
We have places like
Jetzt niemandem
Ludwigslust
nahe
in
Deutschland.
Germany.
Genau, das
Hope
stimmt
I'm
alles.
not
Ein sehr
offending,
schönes Schloss.
but it's a very
Wir haben
nice
aber
place. It's got a,
Griechenland auch mit
a
dabei,
palace.
Romania,
We've got
Belgium,
Greece as well,
Croatia,
Romania, Belgium, Croatia.
Neuwied.
Neuwied. Neuwied is a place
Genau,
in
wir sind
Germany,
wirklich,
in the western part of Germany.
Sweden.
But there is
Lithuania.
also
Also wir sind
Sweden,
wirklich
Lithuania.
international
We are
hier
really
auf der
international
unterwegs. Wie
at the
schön.
European
Machen
level.
Sie sich gerne auch noch mal
So
ein
that's
Foto von
great.
dem Screen hier
If you want to
als
take a
kleine
picture of the
Erinnerung.
screen, maybe as a recollection of this meeting.
Die Wortwolke wächst und wächst und wächst.
The word cloud is growing and growing,
Häufig
getting
genannt.
bigger. Berlin is mentioned quite often, obviously.
Wahnsinn. Toll.
Great. That's great.
In ganz Europa sind wir unterwegs.
We seem to
Und weil das
we
so
seem
viel
to have
Spaß
followers
macht und
all
weil
over
das jetzt
Europe.
auch so gut funktioniert hat,
So
schließen wir gleich
this
mit einer
worked well.
zweiten Frage.
So we'll move on to a second
Dürfen wir also noch mal
question.
den QR-Code abscannen, denn wir möchten
You can
von Ihnen
scan the
wissen,
QR code once again
what do
because
you
we would like to know from you,
with ALMA
what do
or
you associate
Juventus?
with ALMA or Juventus? That's the second
Genau,
question.
den Code, den Sie eingeben müssen, den finden Sie hier unten. Hashtag
The code you have to use, well, you can
2023.
see it here, hashtag
Und
AL2023.
dann bekommen wir wieder eine Word Cloud.
And we'll again get a word cloud,
Schauen wir uns aber eigentlich später
but we'll look at the results later on.
Denn wir werden auf dieser Bühne erstmal
Because, first of all,
unserem ersten Redner
we will start
noch fleißig
with our first speaker, but I can see people still typing into their smartphones, so I give you a bit of time.
nur virtuell wären.
So I'm really glad that we are having you here in the room, because if we were in a virtual meeting only, I couldn't see people typing.
Ich denke, hier fliegen die Begriffe schon
So,
ein. Das werden wir uns nachher noch
We've
mal
got the
ganz
first
explizit gemeinsam
words
anschauen.
coming into the word cloud, but as I said, we'll
Aber
come
jetzt
back
kommen
to
wir erstmal
to the results
zum
later
ersten
on.
Redner des heutigen Tages.
I'd like to come to the first
Ich
speaker
bitte
of
natürlich jedes Mal,
today,
wenn eine Person oder
and
mehrere Personen
may
diese
I
Bühne
ask you,
betreten oder
whenever a
verlassen, dass wir das
person
wertschätzen
comes up
durch
the
einen
stage or
Applaus.
leaves the stage,
Das lädt unsere
we
Debatten
appreciate
immer
that person and
Wir
give
schon
them
in der ersten
a big warm
Ich darf an
applause.
dieser Stelle Dr.
So,
Rolf Schmachtenberg,
I'd like to
den
welcome
Staatssekretär im
Dr. Rolf
Bundesministerium für Arbeit und
Schmachtenberg,
Soziales,
State
begrüßen. Herzlich
Secretary in
willkommen,
the
Herr Schmachtenberg.
German Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. Welcome, Dr. Schmachtenberg. A very warm welcome to you.
Vielen Dank für die Einladung. Herzliches Willkommen
Thank you
an alle
very much for the invitation.
im Raum.
And also from me, a cordial welcome here in the room or online on the screens.
An Adriana Sukawa
My special regards go to Adriana
und einen besonderen Dank auch an Fabienne Levy von der
Sukova, to Fabienne Levy from the Commission, who has joined us. Adriana will give us a video message later on.
Programms Juventus.
We are celebrating the kick-off of our national ESF program Juventus, and we welcome project operators and stakeholders. But Juventus has to be seen in a larger context of the ALMA initiative of the European Union.
Freut sich der Finanzminister.
So we have
Freue ich mich sehr, dass wir heute
two things that we're dealing with together. I'm really glad that we have the ALMA Network as our guest today, with representatives from 15 European Union member states. That's actually a majority that is needed in the Council.
erstes Netzwerktreffen in
So they have come to their
zusammen.
first network meeting together here in Berlin. I am particularly pleased that I can welcome members of the German Parliament already over lunch, as a matter of fact, Ms. Stefanie Effner, Andreas Larem and Katja Mast from the Social Democratic Party's group. She has already left us because she had urgent business to do, but she is very interested in our program and appreciates it very much. From our ESF Plus Monitoring Committee, we have representatives from the ESF managing authorities of the federal states, from the Federal Association of Non-Statutory Welfare Work. This is something very special for our colleagues from abroad. These are NGOs. They have a very special mandate in Germany for welfare work. And we also have representatives from the Confederation of German Employers Associations. This is particularly good, I think, because we are talking about placement into labor and employment, and so it's good to have employers sitting at the table as well. Let me take you a little bit back in time. It all started in 2008 in Germany with the idea for a program that should give young disadvantaged people the possibility to go abroad for a work experience or internship. It's the IDA program. IDA means Integration Through Exchange. It's the German abbreviation, IDA. Starting in 2013, the concept of Integration Through Exchange was taken over by other states who started their own programs. It's about young adults who suffered setbacks and who have difficulties on the labor market. School dropouts, for example, or long-term unemployed persons who should be given a new chance. This is a word which is often used. A significant gap was closed in this way because other exchange programs, such as Erasmus or Erasmus Plus, were not accessible for this group of young people. I'm really convinced of this program design and its success. The experience to live and to work in another country has a very deep impact on participants. It helps them to develop a new self-esteem, to develop self-efficacy, something which they may have lost in their normal environment. Someone who failed to make it is often said to be a loser. So this is where the trick comes in. It's this stay abroad, which is a challenge, but which makes it possible to make a new start. Many from this target group, are in a different situation than ourselves here. We travel a lot. But for these young people who had often never been abroad, it's an absolute, terrible concept to go abroad, to have to speak another language, to eat different food. So it's a very deep experience. In brackets, I spent a year as a student in France, and that was a year which left a big impact on myself. Brackets closed. The program had excellent results. Up to 55% of the young people could be placed into employment or training or went back to school. And in view of the difficult starting position of these young people, this was an extremely good result. And we are talking about stays abroad not of years, but of a couple of weeks or months. And this is why I would like to seize the occasion and thank all those who contributed to the Integration Through Exchange program over the last few years. What is even more important is that the European idea becomes seizable for the participants, and they become ambassadors of our social Europe. For me, it was always impressive to meet participants from the program. who told me about their experiences. And this is something I can very much represent, talk to the participants. In 2021, Commission President von der Leyen left this program at the European level and started the ALMA initiative. It is coordinated by the European Commission, and the aim is to establish programs of exchange for disadvantaged young people. ESF stands for European Social Fund. It could also mean Europe Spreads Freedom, ESF. The program gives these young people the freedom to gain absolutely new perspectives and to embark on a new path. The German contribution to ALMA and the successor of integration through exchange is the JUVENTUS program. Up to 2028, we want to send up to 7,000 young people abroad in the context of the JUVENTUS program. And we are glad that the program already started in March this year with 18 operators for a start from all over Germany, whom I'd like to welcome once again very cordially. It is still possible to join in the JUVENTUS program. If you have the feeling that you would like to participate, there is a second call which was published on 15th of May. And you can supply your application up until 15th of August. And on 23rd of June, in 4 days, we will have a virtual information event. And you can, of course, contact our website esf.de. ALMA stands for Mutual Exchange and Cooperation. This is what today is meant to make possible. We are having two different groups here. First of all, the JUVENTUS project operators that are familiar with the concrete program implementation on the ground. And then we have the ALMA representatives at the European level. There will be lots of possibilities for networking today, for an exchange of experience, for learning from each other. Let's work together to make ALMA and JUVENTUS a success. So this is a brochure which shows us what it's all about. We want to network Europe practically. This is not the schedule of an airline, but it's the networks that have been established already by ALMA. So let me wish you a good time today, and let me thank you once again for coming and for your attention.
Ja, Herr Schmachtenberg, vielen, vielen herzlichen Dank an dieser Stelle.
Thank you, Mr. Schmachtenberg. You have already spoken about the possibility to join in. So, who can join in? Everybody, each and everybody. Public bodies, private organizations, profit and non-profit organizations, local authorities, managers of job centers. They can apply to take part, private associations, whatever. That's great, the moderator says. It's always good to have wishes. What would you wish for JUVENTUS and ALMA? I do hope that it will be a success and that many, many young people will get a new start. And that we also find the right people for the programs, that we will reach the people who really need it. But of course, everybody is the right person. But with this program, we want to reach out to those who are in real difficulties, not just people who, well, are perhaps not yet sure what they want to do, but we want to reach out to people with JUVENTUS who are in real difficulties. That is important, to find the right people who would benefit from the program. And then I would want to have people enjoy the program, so that they enjoy the work abroad, the stay abroad. That sounds good. We will get more information about practical work today. Thank you, Dr. Schmachtenberg. This is your applause for the moment. I would have liked to stay on, but I have to leave you because I have another appointment. I'm so sorry. But it's been great to have you here. That's the main thing, that you came and talked to us. Dr. Schmachtenberg already said that there is one person who would like to talk to you at least through a video message. She's not here in Berlin. She cannot speak to you live. This is Andriana Sukova. She is Deputy Director General in the European Commission, in the Directorate General for Employment. She's responsible for the ESF Plus, and she recorded a message for us.
Dear State Secretary Dr. Schmachtenberg, dear colleagues of the German Federal Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs, dear members of the ALMA Network, dear participants. The aftermath of the pandemic has not been easy. With the war in Europe, climate change calling for immediate action, and digitalization quickly transforming our lives, our society is in a permanent change. We are facing challenges so huge that many young people are questioning their future. In this time of uncertainty and change, it is important to firmly stand for the values of inclusion and equality. We need to ensure that no one is left behind and that young people's aspirations are matched with new opportunities of personal and professional growth. Young people have been a long-standing priority for the European Commission. The European Year of Youth in 2022 opened new channels towards young generations' involvement into our policies and societies. And we must build on this momentum to foster our commitment towards youth. The ALMA initiative represents a key asset to pursue this goal. Many young people are trapped in disadvantaged situations. Young people with disabilities, long-term unemployed, with a migrant background or living in rural areas. They are facing even bigger difficulties in drawing up their future. We must guarantee that those who are not in employment, education or training have the possibility to seize new opportunities, to improve their skills and boost their self-confidence. This is why ALMA is necessary, and your commitment to this initiative is essential. I am very grateful to the German authorities for sharing their experience with the IDA program and for hosting today's meeting. Their testimony, together with the active members of the TLN Mobility Network, will surely provide key examples on which to build successful ALMA projects. Equally, many thanks to the Lithuanian ESF agency for coordinating and supporting the managing authorities in the ALMA network and for contributing to the upscale of ALMA at EU level in line with the social innovation practices. Again, a big thanks to all managing authorities joining the network, which I am delighted to have seen growing in the past months. The success of the ALMA initiative will depend on you. Your hard work, your willingness and your enthusiasm will be essential tools to promote young people's inclusion in our society. Now more than ever, we need to believe in young people's potential to face challenges and to turn them into innovative responses. And for this, we will need all our youth working for a better future. I wish you all a productive meeting today and hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Ja, an dieser Stelle natürlich auch nochmal vielen lieben Dank.
Well, thank you very much, Andriana Sukova, for being with us in a way by sending us this message. And this is the right point in time, I think, to look at the workload, what you associate with Juventus. And Mr. Schmachtenberg used the term chances or opportunities, but there you can see from the size, mobility, opportunity, all this goes into the same direction. Personal development, integration, then opportunities in the plural is also mentioned in the word cloud. And, well, we have all these positive effects cited in this word cloud. And I'm sure we will hear more about these aspects in the next hours. We have heard quite a lot about Juventus and ALMA already, and everything has its origin somewhere. And as State Secretary Schmachtenberg said, the beginning was in the year 2008. Actually, yes, that is quite some time ago. And that's when EDA, Integration through Exchange, Integration durch Austausch, was launched. And this program included a number of aspects. And let's take a look. We have a video here, so you can see what German youth experienced.
ESF-Programm Integration durch Austausch, abgekürzt IDA, lief von 2008 bis 2022 und wurde von 32 Projektnetzwerken in ganz Deutschland umgesetzt. Das Programm hat benachteiligten jungen Menschen einen Auslandsaufenthalt mit betrieblichem Praktikum ermöglicht, um neue Erfahrungen zu sammeln und dadurch einen besseren Einstieg ins Berufsleben zu haben. Insgesamt konnten rund 20.000 junge Menschen erreicht werden. Zum Beispiel die damals 20-jährige Michael Gräf, hier beim Beginn ihrer Ausbildung nach dem IDA-Praktikum im Sommer 2016 im italienischen Vicenza.
Es war eine tolle Erfahrung. Ich habe viel machen können. Ich habe viel Verantwortung übertragen bekommen, was mich sehr überrascht hat. Und das hat natürlich auch mein Selbstbewusstsein sehr gestärkt. Und als ich dann wieder hier war, habe ich 6 Bewerbungen geschrieben, war bei 4 Vorstellungsgesprächen und wurde dann direkt hier genommen. Und dann hat das Praktikum eigentlich sehr viel Eindruck gemacht bei zukünftigen Arbeitgebern.
2019 hat Michael Gräf ihre Ausbildung abgeschlossen und arbeitet noch heute in diesem Hotel. Auch in der Corona-Zeit ist das Austauschprogramm nicht zum Erliegen gekommen. So hatten auch in diesen Jahren junge Menschen wie hier aus Berlin-Hellersdorf die Möglichkeit, ihrem Leben neuen Schwung zu geben.
Ich war 2 Monate in Griechenland, habe dort ein Praktikum beim Gesundheitsamt gemacht in der Küche, wo ich Essen ausgeteilt habe und vorbereitet habe. Und das hat mir viel persönliche Entwicklung gebracht und ich weiß jetzt, wie ich meine Zukunft gestalten möchte.
Über Jobcenter bin ich und da hat mein Fallmanagement erzählt, dass es so ein Praktikum existiert und da habe ich gesagt, könnten wir das denn, also wäre es für mich auch in Ordnung? Und dann haben die gesagt, ja, gucken Sie sich das an und jetzt habe ich mich entschieden und bin hier und fliege jetzt bald nach Italien.
Ich hatte einen schweren Schicksalsschlag. Mein Bruder hat sich selbst umgebracht und deswegen komme ich auch nicht so gut klar mit meiner Familie und möchte den Weg für mich selbst finden und gucken, was ich überhaupt möchte und alleine durchstarten.
Auf der Basis des IDA-Konzeptes und den darauf aufbauenden Erfahrungen des transnationalen Netzwerkes TLN Mobility hat die Europäische Kommission 2021 die ALMA-Initiative ins Leben gerufen. Das deutsche ESF-Plus-Programm JUVENTUS ist der Nachfolger von IDA und der deutsche Beitrag zu ALMA.
It is my strong hope that as many countries as possible will join forces to support the integration of disadvantaged young people in work and society.
So bietet Europa künftig noch mehr Möglichkeiten, individuelle Wege in Ausbildung und Arbeit zu finden.
Wunderbar. Das macht, denke ich, auch nochmal eindrücklich.
Wonderful. I think this gives you quite an impression of the importance of the project by listening to these original witnesses. So I think this is the best starting point you can have to start with our first panel. We look back to the beginnings of the program and we also look into the future. Let me first call upon the panelists to join me on stage. Don't worry, I will introduce everybody. So first of all, a warm welcome to Markus Löbert and Fabienne Levy. Please come up to the stage. Take a seat.
So, wir haben hier auf der Bühne zu
So wonderful. To my left, we have Markus Löbert. He's head of division at the Federal Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs, and he's responsible for the European funds. And then we have Fabian Levy, head of unit, Director General for Employment from the European Commission. Welcome, Ms. Levy.
Sie Fragen im laufenden Gespräch haben,
if you have questions during the upcoming panel discussion, please use Slido. Ask your questions there, and they will be flying to me. It's like a miracle. And if we do not find time to answer all of the questions right here and now, you will find the answers later when we implement the project. And if you want to make my job easier, please tell me who you want to ask the question. Mr. Löbert, let's get started. Let's look back to the previous program, EDA. Integration durch Austausch, integration through exchange. What was the basic idea behind this? Oh yes, of course you need to take a microphone, Mr. Löbert, otherwise nobody will understand you. I think it has already been made clear what the program meant. Let me quote a participant, a former participant. He said,
und das ist meines Erachtens genau der Punkt. Die Teilnehmer überwinden sich selbst, sie verlassen ihre Komfortzone, erfahren.
So I think really this is a key sentence. If you leave your comfort zone, magical things can happen. Often they were not happy in their family and they leave them behind. They go abroad, they experience new things, they are met with respect. There may also be setbacks and disadvantages, but the advantages dominate and they come back with this new feeling of self-confidence and this feeling of being valued. This gives them a chance for a fresh start. And as Mr. Schmachtenberg emphasized, especially people with maybe physical handicaps, with special destinies, somebody died, etc. These are the right people in our target group to help these people, and I think the program is also an excellent excellent propaganda for Europe, so to speak, because we do not just do something for students with Erasmus Plus, but even these people benefit from the European Union. So EDA, in 2008, this was not a standalone project. Some years later, the Transnational Learning Network was founded, TLN. So this predecessor of ALMA, so to speak, can you explain what that means, TLN, and to what extent was that an enrichment for you? Well, I think the key word here is together, because we brought together all interested regions and operators in one big group. We learned from these regions. We learned what is important for the labor market in these regions. We drafted quality standards. This was really hard work. And so we drafted a framework that still left room for flexibility for every region, for every country to include their own specific factors. And this cooperation was really successful, and therefore I'm glad that we can continue with the good work in ALMA now, and that the family is extended now. And could one say that TLN, I mean, is that motivating?
For the ALMA initiative. We already heard ALMA is for aim, learn, master, and achieve. What was the journey from TLN to ALMA?
Well, actually, here I'm happy about this question because it gives me the opportunity to underline that a lot of things come from the Commission, but things can also be taken up by the Commission to build upon local or national initiative, and this has really been the case. It started, well, it has been said by yourself, Marcus, and also by the State Secretary, how it all started first at the level of Germany and then was extended to a number of member states. And in fact, in 2021, there was a letter, a request from Germany, but on behalf of the TLN network, to expand this at European level. So this is where it came from, and it was taken up, as was said by the State Secretary, in the speech by the President of the Commission, the speech on the State of the Union. So it really showed the political importance, the dedication of making sure, or at least trying to integrate all young people and involve them in the European project. So it really came, so to speak, from the ground in a way, and from projects which had been very successful, and it was understood that it would be a good idea to take it up at the European level and to try to expand it to all member states, if possible, or at least those who are interested. So this is really the origin of ALMA.
So tell us, which structure does the ALMA initiative have? Who can participate?
Yeah, well, this is the trick. I mean, it's not a straightforward program, as those who have been involved in TLN know better than I do, because indeed it involves a high number of partners at national level, and partners in other member states. So it's quite complex to set up. And also, it's been mentioned as well, the public is not easy to reach. That's one of the challenges. It has been mentioned also earlier today, this morning. So it's a complex setup. It's really a tailored approach. And here, of course, the Commission can only provide some, in a way, higher support, which will be provided mostly by the Lithuanian agency for ESF, by organizing such events, networking events, providing exchanges as well, website, all kinds of experience sharing. But the main role, of course, in implementing ALMA will be taken up by the managing authorities in member states and regions, and of course the operators themselves who will actually deal with the young people, the beneficiary. So let's be open about it. It's complex, but it brings excellent results. It was mentioned, the TLN network, really high integration rates, above 50%, 55%. So for this difficult target population, it was a tremendous achievement, but this you can only, realize with a very tailored, specific approach. So it's not going to be easy, but I think it's worth it.
Thank you so much. Ja, dann zurück zu Ihnen noch einmal, Herr Löbbert. Juventus ist der deutsche Beitrag zu ALMA.
Back to you, Mr. Löbbert. ALMA is the German, or either is the contribution also to ALMA, and let's take a look into the future. What have we achieved already with Juventus, and what is the plan? Well, what have we achieved? Well, I think part of the success is sitting in this room, because after all, 18 participating projects are already represented here today. The second call has been published, and Mr. Schmachtenberg mentioned it, so the call is still open and active. So whoever is interested, please file your applications. And our aim is to reach out to about 7,000 young people throughout the programming period. This is an ambitious goal, yeah, but it's worth it.
Unser Kommunikationsinstrument.
Now, let us take another look at Slido and the questions that have been asked by the audience. Well, there is a question, for example, to you, Ms. Levy.
There's a question, I'm sorry. What is done on EU level to generate synergy effects of Erasmus+?
Synergy effect of Erasmus+.
What is done on EU level to generate synergy effects of Erasmus+? Maybe to combine them or?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure about that because it's true that we are talking mobility as well, but the target populations are completely different. So I'm not sure, well, in fact, I'm pretty sure it's not, we can take some elements perhaps, but it's really not transposable. The populations are so different. On Erasmus, it's a well-tested program. We're talking millions, we're talking students. They're very, they get offered opportunities within their studies, in their universities. So it's a well-treated path and it doesn't require so much attention. ALMA is much more complex. As was mentioned, it's often young people who, for one reason or another, have not been treated well by life. So there is a lot of, the approach really has to be made to measure and personalized. So I don't think, apart from the fact that we're talking mobility, I don't think there is much to take, honestly.
Completely different environments, right?
Completely different environments,
yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for this, for the answer, and thanks for the question. One more question for both. So, what is the percentage of NEETs Europe-wide?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
Too many, that's for sure. Because this is something, I mean, the aim not only of ALMA, but the aim of many policies, both at national and European level, aim to reduce this proportion. It's very different, of course, from member states, but I cannot give you a figure because I would be wrong. 11.7%. Overall, for the EU level. Yeah, I think there are... Yeah.
11.7%?
Which is far too much, but there are, in addition to that, what I know is that there are high discrepancies between member states, so it's really the average doesn't so much reflect the realities, because in some member states, well, first of all, in some member states, you don't have that many young people anymore. It's more my generation, which is more numerous, and then depending on the economic situation, of course, so it varies a lot. But there are differences in member states, like member states with a higher percentage of NEETs, they actually have an obligation in the context of the European Social Fund to spend 12.5% on specific actions for integration of the needs. So this is reflected in the requirements of the program, so to speak, yes.
Vielen herzlichen Dank. Thanks a lot. Herr Löbert, möchten Sie noch was ergänzen?
Mr. Löbert, would you like to add to this? Yeah, see, this is how the ALMA network works. I think we just heard the answer from Latvia. Is that right? You came with a percentage. Yes, that's true.
Sorry? Okay.
Sorry, the interpreters can't hear without a microphone. So the share in Germany is fortunately not just as high. So we have no mandatory goals for Germany. But that's why we emphasize time and again that we have to focus on the really hard cases. And I think this is very different from region to region, from member state to member state. Sometimes you have to have a different definition of person in need depending on the situation. So in Germany, we are only taking care of the very difficult cases. There's another question that is being asked. Thank you for asking so many questions.
For ALMA, how many European countries and regions may hopefully set up own ALMA mobility programs? Is there a number of young people with disadvantages ALMA want to address? Okay, I think these are 3 questions in one. Shall I repeat it? Okay. That's okay. You want to answer? You okay?
Well, what I'm going to say is quite general, because of course, I mean, the answer, you can all guess the answer actually, but okay, I'm going to spell it out. Of course, the aim is to have as many young beneficiaries as possible. So ideally, yeah, the 12%, but of course it's not so realistic precisely because such a tailored approach is required. This will limit the numbers, but we do hope that in this programming period, all member states will participate. Really, that's the purpose. That the aim. You heard my boss, Andriana Sukova, also in the video. There was the commissioner for social employment and social affairs in the commission. There is very strong involvement in making ALMA a success. So at this stage. And also it doesn't depend on me or my colleagues. It will depend on the managing authorities. It will depend on the operators. We are aware that it's a complex process. So this is why I was saying my answer can only be very general, as much as possible. There is no limit, can be programmed within the ESF Plus, can be programmed under a number of priorities. If there is a specific objective on social integration, then the co-financing rate can be very high, up to 95%. So really the means are available. But within the national administration, within the operators, the resources, to implement such a complex program are also very high. So we are very well aware of this, which may come as a limitation. But let's hope that it's as wide as possible.
Thanks. So, one more question for Marcus Löbert. Did you face any dropouts within EDA or ALMA implementation? ALMA participants going abroad and then wanting to come back before end of program?
Ja, natürlich. Das ist das reale Leben, leider.
Of course, this is real life. Yes, we have experienced this because this target group is so difficult. It may happen they drop out during preparation or when they are abroad already. This has happened, yes, this is life. And of course, there are various stages. In the beginning, people are very euphoric. Oh, the sun is shining, there's the beach, and so on. But then they have to go to work. They don't understand the people. They have a different way of working. The sun is shining, yes, but it's too hot. So, and then you get acquainted with everything, you familiarize with the situation, and then a positive experience builds up, but not for everybody. Sometimes things may go wrong somehow. There may be some sort of personal problems, internal problems, whatever. And to reduce this dropout rate, we do not only have good preparation courses, but in the German project at least, we also send somebody with the participants, a sort of assistant. And these people, again, have a sort of helpline they can call if they need psychological support, where they have a chance to talk about these problems a certain person has, and to prevent dropout. But in certain cases, you have to travel home with some participants. So how about the periods of time we are talking? I mean, I mentioned the quality framework. We have defined what is a good period for preparation and so on. Could you perhaps help me here in the so preparation period is at least 61. No, sorry, the stay abroad is 61 days at least, and preparation 6 to 8 weeks preparation. There is some variety in the program. So yeah, but that sounds really like intensive preparation for the stay abroad. There is one last question addressed to both of you. Is there a minimum number of participants that you have to be able to reach out to as an operator?
This is
a very technical question. And please correct me if I'm telling nonsense. So we heard the groups should not be too big and not too small for economic reasons. And in our call in Germany, we defined a certain level of costs, and the operators have to find out whether this fits with the number of participants. So if you spend too much money on 5 people, then this is not good. But if you can reach 80 people with the same money, then the per capita cost would be good. So, but this is just a wild example now. There are smaller projects and bigger projects. So we only speak about levels and not specific costs. Do you want to add some?
Of course, it's individualized, as was mentioned, and but the target population is difficult. It was also mentioned the role of the mentor, of somebody who goes to with the young people during their placement. So it means that the group cannot be too big, because they need specific attention. I've heard that as a benchmark, maybe 10, 12 people. But then it was also mentioned, indeed, there are some dropouts, though this can be perhaps anticipated by making it slightly larger, so that in the end, per operation can be perhaps 10 people. But of course, in a project, you can have several such operations. So it will depend very much. At EU level, there is some kind of benchmark, but there is no requirement as to the specific number of participants.
Thank you. Okay, so vielen herzlichen Dank erstmal an dieser Stelle.
Thank you so much for this first round and for this interesting panel discussion, and I would love this to continue. So for now, thank you, Mrs. Levy, Mr. Löbert. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you.
Wir gehen weiter in unserer Kommunikation, in unserer Verbindung, und zwar machen wir das.
So, let's move on and let's come back to Slido. With the third question, we would like to know what is the state of play of ALMA or Juventus at your organization? So this is our third question. Again, I'm moving to the side so that you can take a picture of the code. What is the state of play of ALMA or Juventus at your organization? You have a multiple choice. This is a multiple choice question. There are 3 possible answers. A, we are interested to participate in ALMA or Juventus, possibility number 1. Possibility number 2, we have decided to participate and or already make plans. Or number 3, we have already started with the implementation. These are the 3 possibilities for your answer. So you can sit back, relax and vote. And here we can see the answers developing. We've already started with the implementation, seems to be leading. I think most of you have voted already, but we'll start with the second panel. I'll call all participants of the second panel to come up to the stage, and I will introduce them individually, of course. This second panel will be even more specific, more concrete. We'll speak about implementation, about the technical level of projects. We will have 2 people from the JUVENTUS program and 2 from the ALMA initiative. I'd like to call the following people: Stefanie Quint, Sandra Hildebrand, Tomke Travnicek, Asta Jorgute, and great applause for our 4 panelists. So, free choice of your seats.
Wunderbar.
Great.
So, schön, dass Sie alle da sind.
It's good to have you here, all 4 of you. So let me introduce the panelists. On my left-hand side, we have Stefanie Quint from INVIA, from the project operator INVIA in Cologne. Then we have Sandra Hildebrand from the Senate of Berlin. She is responsible for the vocational training service and has worked with IDA and JUVENTUS operators for long years. Thanks for being here, Ms. Hildebrand. Next to her, we have Asta Jorgute. She is head of the Social Innovation Plus initiative in the ESFA in Lithuania. This agency has been tasked by the Commission with the implementation of ALMA, of the ALMA initiative. And last but not least, we have Tomke Travnicek from the Czech Labor Ministry and thus responsible for the Czech ALMA program. Welcome, a warm welcome to all of you.
So, ich kann hier die Ecke schauen. Wir schauen uns noch mal ganz kurz. Ich hole Sie ins Bild. Wir schauen uns noch mal ganz kurz das Ergebnis.
Let me just come back briefly to the results of our third question. The question was, what is the state of play of ALMA or JUVENTUS at your organization? And I think almost 50% or 46% is for C. We have already started with the implementation, and A and B have more or less equal shares. We are interested to participate, or we've decided to participate and or already made plans. So thanks very much to all those who've taken part in the poll. Some of them are interested but have not yet started and may have questions with regard to implementation. You have lots of experiences with the implementation, and this is what we would like to talk about with you. Ms. Quint, let me start with you, if that's okay. You have been involved in integration through exchange and JUVENTUS as a project operator. Tell me, what are your beautiful recollections of the program implementation? Is there any young people who was particularly successful and who you recall in particular? We joined the program in 2009, Ms. Hildebrand says. We sent hundreds of people abroad, and probably there are hundreds of stories I could tell you. I'd like to start with some particular story. Actually, it's from yesterday when I came to this place on the train. I came together with my colleague, and we talked to 2 other people on the train. They asked us, what are you doing? And we told them, yes, we're going to a meeting. And they asked us, what's JUVENTUS? We explained it, and we told them it's for young disadvantaged people who can go abroad and have a practical work experience so that we can integrate them better into the labor market. And then the other people said, oh, this doesn't work at all, most certainly not. I'm working in the healthcare sector, and I have a lot to do with people who are disadvantaged. It doesn't work here, and why should it work abroad? And then we told these 2 people about the successes we achieved over the last 13 years with our project. And they were really surprised, and I think actually they couldn't believe it, that it does work, that program, that young people who have lots of problems in Germany and difficulties, that these people really come back as someone different from abroad. For example, a woman from Iran who came to Germany in 2017 without anybody else, who had to cope on her own, who joined our project in 2020 and who had a work experience in Malta. She could make up her mind there. She worked at a hotel as an animator. She worked a lot with children, and she knew after that time in Malta that she would like to work in a kindergarten and work with young children. So she did some training for that. She's still in that training. So these are examples. Not every young person who takes up training is successful, but I think all young people who go abroad really experience personal development. Of course, there are successes, but there are challenges as well. There are problems and challenges. What are the challenges and problems that you had in these long years? There are many. All those who are in the room and implement the program know it starts with the application for the program, with the acquisition of participants. But the biggest challenge is, of course, the stay abroad, the stay in another country. It is very demanding for the mentors and coaches, the pedagogic staff, and it makes many demands as far as the cooperation with the transnational partner is concerned. This is the most important element of the program. This is why this meeting is so important. If you network, communication is really very important. The transnational partners must get in contact. You must be aware of the cultural differences, on what you expect on both sides, and on who is going to be responsible for what abroad, so that we have certainty for the young people, but also for the pedagogic staff, for the mentors and coaches. It takes a lot of time, I think, and you must take this time. You have to travel to the other country, you have to look for yourself, stay in touch. So you emphasize that this is important, the moderator says. Apart from meetings of this kind, how do you find partners abroad? We implemented Erasmus before, and the question is, how can these programs benefit from each other? Also in the context of Erasmus, we had partners abroad, also in the context of the International Voluntary Service for Young People. So we had partners already. Then we found new partners in the network meetings of integration through exchange, partners from other organizations. So of course, this is a continuous development. Sometimes you stop cooperation with a partner, you find new partners. Networking is extremely important. It's not only the partner organizations abroad, the moderator says, but also the partners here at home. This was already mentioned before. In Germany, the Public Employment Service, employment agencies, job centers, and the vocational training services for young people. I turn to Mrs. Hildebrand now. You work for the Senate of Berlin, and my question is, how do these vocational training services for young people and the job centers support the program? In Berlin, we are a federal state and a city. We have one such vocational training service for young people with 12 branch offices. And all young people at the transition from school to working life, up to the age 25, go to this place. Not only those who have problems. In Berlin, we have the big advantage that we are working together across all legislation which is relevant in this area in order to improve the framework conditions for young people. Since 2015, we have developed a joint attitude. I have met a colleague from the job center, and our joint attitude is to see what we can do for these young people, how can we help them to make use of the various offers. I come from the area of youth work. We are very much interested in skilling, but not only skilling. It's about developing your personality also, and we want to. Mobility is important for all young people. You must try and find the best solution for young people. What possibilities do exist, and if a young person would like to go elsewhere, to be mobile, there are other possibilities. In addition to integration through exchange, there is Erasmus+, for example. But if a young person is ready and willing to do this, and we try to make sure that there are no financial obstacles. So this is something which we all those that are involved, try to ensure. What is also important is that everybody knows us. All the relevant organizations in youth work know us. We have we use the ESF here in Berlin to develop special instruments for young people. So we just tried to develop a joint approach for the benefit of the young people. And of course, we do not have long distances as in other federal states. Is there any special story that you still recall and that you might like to share with us? The moderator asks. As far as NEETs are concerned, well, we have quite a number of them in Berlin, and also young people with other challenges. You can see this in different programs. We saw it in integration through exchange. So I'm not part of the projects myself. This is done by our project operators. But when you talk to the young people, when you talk to the project operators, you can really see that they are very committed. And this shows me that this is a good example. And when the young people go abroad and live in different framework conditions, they might realize that Berlin is not just as bad as they perhaps thought before. You might get a different perspective on your own life. And if you meet them again after a couple of years, they might tell you, you know, that was really the right thing I did when I took part in that program. Then that's a good experience. Ms. Quint, Ms. Hildebrandt, both of you referred to networking, to cooperation, both at the federal level but also at a higher level. This is really very important, and maybe a question for both of you. How can cooperation really be successful, and where are the challenges? When we started, Ms. Quint says, we do have a large network in our region with 4 job centers, 5 in the past. And the project really did a lot of work to convince the job centers to participate. And of course, we were sometimes told we will not pay 2 months abroad for young people with difficulties. But staff members of the job centers went to the places where the young people did their work experience abroad. They could see for themselves the infrastructure, the young people, what they did abroad, and this really changed their view of the program. And we no longer had problems after this, because the job centers are now really convinced. They have realized that it's very much for the benefit of the young people. And of course, we are developing the network both at the operative level, we cooperate, and also on the strategic level. Ms. Hildebrand, would you like to add something? The question is also the attitude, whether I'm open enough to support the project operators. The real work is done by the project operators, as a matter of fact. If you don't hear anything, if there are no complaints, you know everything's going well. If there are specific problems, however, they must know whom to turn to so that we can help them to solve the problem. This is also an important criteria of success, I think. So they should know that they can rely on us, that we will help them to find a solution if necessary. One piece of information from the moderator, you can of course join in, send your questions to us or for the panel via Slido. And it would help us very much if you added whom you would like to turn to with your question. So let's go to our neighbors, to Czechia.
ALMA program and also participated in the TLN network. So how was the program concept implemented in the Czech Republic?
Well, we joined the network in 2014. The first meeting I've been to personally, was in late 2013 when we were when they showed us the results, the great results of the IDA program. And at that moment we were thinking about creating a network, which took place in 2014, and we are, as a Czech Republic, as a Czech Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs, we are members since then. So the preparation, it wasn't really straightforward because we had a lot of meetings. We used to meet at least twice per year as the network, and we were actually preparing the documents because we couldn't probably, because of German specific rules, we couldn't follow the IDA rules, so we had to create the TLN network rules for the mobility. So we created the manual of guidance for the IDA projects and for the managing authorities who would wish to implement transnational mobility for disadvantaged youth. And so we were, as a Czech Republic, as our team, because it wasn't only me, it was my colleague Iva. Some of you at the audience know her. We were preparing. We were part of the team who prepared the rules, how to actually create, how to publish a call, how to create a call, and then how to administer the projects. So. It was quite, I would say it was maybe a little bit easier for us than it is for the new members now of the ALMA network, because we were there since from the beginning. And of course, even though we tried to come up with the manual, was to be as general as possible, to be able to use in all European countries who would be interested in the mobility. But of course, again, as I said before, there are specific German rules, implementation rules. We have in the Czech Republic, we have also specific implementation rules of the ESF programs. So we couldn't adhere to all of this, even though we were in the core team who prepared the documents. And I would say we were quite innovative. We published the calls in a Czech way. So far we have had 2 calls, two TLN calls. Now we have just published a new ALMA call, and I would say it was, for us it was very easy because we were in the middle of the things, preparing all the documents, and the network was, I think it was a success. That's why we have ALMA now here, because I think the work of the TLN network was really successful.
Can you describe how the support from the TLN network helped you?
For us, I think it was the exchange of good practice and the possibility to talk about things we weren't sure about, to talk with other members of the TLN mobility. We didn't rely that much on more experienced members, because the only more experienced member of the team of the network was Germany, because of their experience with IDA. But all the other member countries were at the same situation as us. So I think for us it was the possibility to work together, to create the calls and exchange good and also bad practice, because we were quite open with each other. So we informed each other about the things that didn't work out as well. So.
Thank you. Asa Jogurte, I would like to have you into our round. You are the head of the Social Innovation Plus initiative and responsible for the implementation of ALMA. You thus took over from TLN. How will the Social Innovation Plus initiative support ALMA?
So first of all, good afternoon to all participants. Thank you for the question. As most probably some of you know, European Social Fund Agency from Lithuania was entrusted by European Commission to implement ESF Plus, Social Innovation Plus initiative during 2021-2027 period with the execution until 2030. We see this trust as a recognition of our almost 20 years of work experience in managing ESF program in Lithuania and in supporting transnational learning and cooperation. And we will implement this initiative in two directions. The grant scheme, we are in charge of the whole cycle of EU-level calls for proposals to boost social innovation, and European Competence Center for Social Innovation, to create a structure and to run the structure, to work closely together with the member states and social innovation stakeholders. And if we zoom in shortly into the grant scheme, so the first call that we launched under this initiative, it was to pilot ALMA targeting NEETs. We launched this call in December last year. After 1 month, the contract with the European Commission was signed. And in March, we got 34 applications. And currently, those applications are under the evaluation procedure. And we hopefully finish with the selection procedure in July. And we think that projects will start implement the activities in October this year. European Competence Center for Social Innovation, the second strand of the ESF Plus Social Innovation Plus initiative, supports and organizes the activities of the ALMA network. And we see this network as the main vehicle for driving forward thinking collaboration between ESF Plus managing authorities and intermediate bodies, as well as EU-level ALMA project beneficiaries, other relevant stakeholders who are interested in ALMA initiative, including experts and practitioners.
Thank you. Who can participate in ALMA and how?
So in ALMA network activities, we have 3 groups. The core group of ALMA network consists of ESF Plus managing authorities and intermediate bodies who implement ALMA measures in their ESF Plus operational programs for 2021-2027. As well as ESF managing authorities and intermediate bodies who would like to implement those measures in their operational programs. The second group is EU-level ALMA project beneficiaries. For them, we will offer capacity building and training activities, as well as partner search activities. And the third group is anybody who is interested in ALMA. They can join our so-called extended group, and we will offer for this group informational sessions and training events.
Thank you. So, wir gehen mal in den Fragenaustausch.
So, let's come to the questions. Mrs. Hildebrand, to what extent do the job centers reach the target groups that you have described, especially after Corona? Well, I'm not from the job center. I'd have to turn to my colleague, but we are working closely together. Last year in the European Year of Youth, now we have the European Year of Skills. In Berlin, we implemented a project, for example, via the ESF throughout Berlin, where we try to reach out to people with extremely difficult, in extremely difficult situations. And we are trying to get these people back into the mainstream structures. There is a number of projects, and the concept of the vocational training services that we have here in Berlin focuses on counseling that tries to reach out to the people concerned. Of course, we focus on the young people individually in order to find out which measures are necessary for an individual, what possibilities exist, what would be fitting. But throughout Corona, we've seen that many really have withdrawn. And I'm very glad that we do have the ESF instruments that we have implemented with the job centers. What about proactive campaigns, the moderator says, online campaigns, for example?
Yes, of course, we have social media accounts, and one of the operators that already implemented EDA is now also relevant for the implementation of cases under Section 16H. But people, young people do not always want to be contacted. But as I come from social work for youth, it's about cooperation. You have to build a basis of trust to reach out to these young people, to really work with them afterwards. And here in Berlin, we built up a very complex system to reach the right people with the right measures. I would also like to come with a follow-up question to you, Mrs. Quint.
Are you, your coaches and mentors, staying abroad with the youngs or the partner abroad, take care about them? Ich glaube, Sie hatten es vielleicht schon angedeutet. Also die Menschen, die wirklich mit ins Ausland gehen.
So how about them, these people who accompany the young people abroad? Do they look after these young people? Well, this is a funny expression, look after them. Well, it is true, we have a team of educationalists that prepare the group for their stay abroad, and abroad there are people who work in shifts, so to speak. So as a rule, you have one educationalist who joins a group of 3 people for some weeks, and then a new educationalist comes to join the team, and the transnational partner, so in the country of stay, also assumes part of responsibility. And as Mr. Löbert said, those involved in the work as mentors, as coaches, also need contacts that can provide them with exchange or support, rather. They are ready for conversations to have an exchange on the situation of particular young people, or who can deal with particular conflicts that may come up. This is important to maintain the mental health of those working in the project as well. So next,
do participants want to come back to home country after staying abroad, or do they want to stay there without finish their participation in the project? Are there any experiences? Möchten Sie, gibt es? Nein? Frau Travnicek, ja?
Well, from our experience,
also,
really occasionally, there are, I think, there are just individual persons, individual participants who decide to stay abroad. Of course, once their self-esteem is improved, they are maybe in some cases, they gain new knowledge, they gain new experience in all of the cases. And or sometimes they even get offered to stay at work. We had maybe there was a very nice guy I was talking to, he was in Sweden, working at the car service. He started with just cleaning the cars for the first few weeks. Then they moved him because they didn't know what can he do. Then they moved him, and he just grew up within the auto service and within the car service, and he ended up as a mechanic with an offer to work, to stay in Sweden and work. But he was still, even though he spent 2 months in Sweden, his grasp on Swedish wasn't really great, so he was afraid and he didn't stay at the end. But offers like that happen. Offers that come from the employers during the stage abroad, that happens quite a lot. What happens less is people actually deciding to stay. So I would say it's not in general. Most of the people return back to their home country.
Thank you. One question to Ms. Jogote. Is it already achieved the possibility to have at least one EU-level ALMA beneficiary in each EU country as foreseen in the call? You need, I think you need to use the microphone.
Thank you for the question. As I look at my colleagues from European Social Fund Agency, they are doing like that. So no, the question is no.
Okay, thank you. So we go on with you. First question, from how many EU member states did you receive applications for the first ALMA call, and in which proportions?
We received 34 applications from 10 member states. And I'm looking to my colleague Renata. She is managing the grant scheme of ALMA call. Can you help me with the numbers?
16. Okay, thank you for this cooperation. And second question to you. When is the next call planned?
It's not planned, yes.
It's not already planned, okay. Third question, are applications from MS with own program possible or not?
No. Thanks God Renata is here with me. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for the question. Okay, Frau Hildebrand, wir springen wieder zu Ihnen.
So, Mrs. Hildebrand, we're getting back to you. Following question to you. As a Berlin operator, we're already implementing Erasmus+, and we would now like to participate in the JUVENTUS program. We have contacted several job centers in Berlin without success. I would suggest they write an email to me again, so we would see how we can funnel this into the job centers. Berlin is really complicated and nobody understands us. We are one city-state. We have 12 districts, Grand Duchy, so to speak, and we have one regional directorate that is responsible for Berlin and Brandenburg. We have 3 employment agencies and 12 job centers, and this is a historical development. My colleague Katja from the job center, we have a tool for building bridges, and I have learned over the time that every job center has its own life, it seems, and with the help of this youth vocational training agency, we were able to build networks and to get to know each other, and you know who to call, and I would suggest that these partners should contact the Berufsjugendagentur again to be successful. So this should be something open to all young people. This is really an important topic. Sometimes you have to readjust the program, and normally this is successful. As we are now here, like in a family meeting, maybe there is a specific email address to help this person, because this person really wants to participate. I don't want to give my email address to everybody here, but you can really find it easily. info@bfj.berlin. So it's this ends up in a ticketing system, so these mails will not get lost. But you can also have an exchange with the job centers. Often this is easier, because I think there are job centers that are quite open to this sort of application. Yeah, well, a free path either through me, and you know my name, or through the job center.
Okay, next question. Monsieur Gothe. How a national
Question to Monsieur Gothe.
can get in touch with ESFA to be supported in developing a national or regional ALMA program, and if the same procedure will be applied to other ESF Social Innovation Plus initiatives.
Yes, so if to talk about the ALMA network, we are open for all ESF Plus managing authorities and intermediate bodies who are indeterminate and who would like to implement ESF ALMA mobility program in their countries. So we are open, and we would like to encourage all member states to join this network. As well as we have the extended group of the network of this in ALMA initiative. And what I could add here, that we have 36 members in ALMA network currently from 17 member states, and we have 17 members in the extended group, so-called extended group. And in this group we have people who would like to learn about ALMA initiative, but they are not like from ESF managing authority or intermediate body. So that's all.
God bless you. Okay, there's a question for every one of you. Wie lange muss man vom Zeitpunkt, maybe it's better for you to put them on. Wie lange muss man vom Zeitpunkt der Antragstellung,
from the moment of when you file the application, how long do you have to wait until the project is approved?
Anybody an idea? You need to speak into the microphone.
Yes, the project evaluation procedure duration is 3 months. And then afterwards we have the preparation of the contract and it lasts for 2 months. And so in total we have, 5 months for the pre-pitch.
Approximately 5 months.
Yes, from the deadline of the submitting applications till the selection.
Okay, thank you. Herr Löbert hat sich gerade gemeldet für ALMA.
Mr. Löber says for Juventus the timetable will be published.
Was Bewerbung etc. angeht, wann nochmal veröffentlichen Sie das? Das kann man jetzt schon nachlesen.
Okay, all the deadlines have already been published for Juventus. So thank you, yes, for this information. Then there's a question for the representative of the operators. Does anybody feel responsible for this question? Well, let's see. How difficult is it to overcome administrative barriers, etc., when implementing a Juventus program? Well, so far we were able to not address this topic. Do you want me to repeat the question once again? No, not really. Well, it is a lot of work that is involved with this application, and it is also necessary to deal early on with all these administrative procedures, that you participate in all the workshops, helping with the preparation of the applications, etc., and to avoid mistakes. And you need to be patient. Very often you need to provide more information, etc. And then you have to wait for the approval of the grant. And I know this is a problem for the operators. This also can lead to financial hardship, because you first of all have to spend money before you get the ultimate decision, and in the meantime we are pre-financing this. I mean, we are a big operator and we can do that, but it's not possible to do this for all eternity. And maybe this is also one of the reasons why we cannot find new operators. I was a little shocked to hear that only 18 operators are present here who already have experience in this area. The processes are really deterring, but in the interest of the target group, I would like to launch an appeal. Please accept the workload in the interest of the people. Please file your applications and hope for the approval. Is there any possibility to facilitate the process? Can somebody help? Is there one particular adjusting screw, let's put it this way, to help? Well, we had a workshop meeting, and the interface with the KBS and the federal ministry has to be improved, and during implementation maybe we should have regular exchanges. We have these information events, and when you are new to this area, you probably do not understand the question, the situation immediately, and you should ask questions online. And I would like to launch this appeal, to have regular meetings with the KBS, to work on the FAQs, to meet every 3 months, for example, to exchange views on information. And I think it's easier to have group meetings rather than bilateral discussions, and I think once you have such meetings, you can also get rid of all the frustration, and then you are full of energy again to continue. Okay, for the moment being, thank you very much. I think we have made some progress, and with a view to the clock, I'd like to end this meeting with a short spotlight. Another question for slide. Oh no, sorry. A question to all of you. What are you looking forward to following this meeting?
So I'll start.
Yeah.
No, I just want to. I know moderators don't like it, but I start with an answer to the previous question, because about the administrative burden on the side of the project operators. I just want to say, because I know a lot of you, and a lot of you know me, even some of you might not have recognized me at the first sight. Well, I want to say that even though the administrative burden on the project operator side is very high, I know about it. That's the same in Czech Republic, that's in Germany, that's the same in all European countries, because we have the ESF rules and we have the national rules. But the support you get, the support that was started during the IDA by not only Miss Jürgens and Miss Reuter, it's not all the project operators, not all project operators in all programs get such a support. So I think the exchange of the good practice, the twice yearly meetings you get to exchange the good practice, to talk about the administrative problems or the ways how to do it, it's really amazing. And I said last time I was here, it's a long time ago, it was before COVID, if I remember correctly. I said, yeah, even in Czech Republic we took an inspiration and we try to do it the same way, as even though we don't have as much money, we can have our meetings are a little bit the level of our meetings a little bit lower than the meetings here at the ministry, but we try to do the same because we thought it is great. So the support you get as an operator is very high, and the competence of the people who give you the answers and who do the administration at the side of on the ministry is very high. So yeah, that's one thing. And now back to your question. As I said, we have
to today.
Well, I'm actually looking today. I'm really looking to talk to some of you, to the familiar faces. And once I come back to Prague on Wednesday, yeah, it's going to be again administration, because we have published the call is finished. We have also, it's interesting, we have also 18 projects for the new ALMA program. So far we have 18 projects, so there is administration, and the first projects are going to start in July, so I'm really looking towards the implementation and the administration of these projects.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gothe, maybe a bit shorter, just what are you looking forward to today?
So first of all, I'm really very happy being here, as for the first time under this initiative we are meeting our ALMA Network members live. So also to talk about their challenges, their daily life and challenges, what they face every day implementing their ALMA measures and ALMA programs. And I would like to add what I didn't say, that European Competence Center and European Commission are not the ones who could solve problems that we all face. If we want to achieve something better and to create some success and impact, we should work together. And you can only by working together, and it's like a starting point. We met for the first time. We can create and community and right initiatives that could create this change.
Okay, thank you. Frau Hildebrand.
Mrs. Hildebrand, what are you looking forward to today? I think, well, yes, I'm looking forward to the cooperation that is taking place also for those who have joined us online. And I hope that this will fill the European Year of Skills with life, just as we did last year with the European Year of Youth, or for youth, and that we can make it possible for young people who want to go, make it possible for them to go abroad. And I hope for starting off even better than before. And Mrs. Quint? Well, yes, I'm looking forward to the roundtable talks, and I hope we can go home with 1 or 2 addresses where we can also get visitors. That was not possible in the first period. So thank you very much for this. Thank you to all of you. This is your applause.
Wow, jetzt haben wir, denke ich mal,
Well,
viele Impulse.
Really, this was great. We got a lot of new insights. First experiences have been exchanged, and we would now like to have a short wrap-up of the last 2 hours. I mean, when time is fruitful, then it always runs very quickly, and I would like to ask Mr. Husemann and Mrs. Levy back to my stage here.
Sie dürfen gerne neben mir Platz nehmen.
You can sit next to me, Mr. Husemann.
I already know Ms. Levy, so now I will focus on Wolfgang Husemann. Er ist Unterabteilungsleiter im BMAS.
Mr. Husemann is a director at the Federal Ministry of Labour and Social Affairs, responsible for the ESF Plus and the JUVENTUS program. This is correct, it seems, as you are nodding, so I'm happy too. So if...
we can wait for you. You need the headphones? No? Okay. Wenn Sie jetzt noch einmal das Gehörte...
Now, if you think of what has been said so far, what do you remember? What is important? Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. I came by train from Bonn, and I was a little late, so I listened to the last half hour only. But I'm happy that there is so much hope for young people to gain a new life and to have a youth that fights for Europe with us. I remember very well in 2014 I was in Austria with a partner called Greenworks that supported people who were really hopeless cases. So I visited different initiatives, and we had an exchange with VAG Audi in Vienna, and they had an intern, a participant from Germany, where the Federal Employment Agency, with support of a local agency, convinced him to move to Vienna, and he had planned to become a criminal there. And then I asked Wien Works, the representative, well, you know the background of these people, of the participants, how do you deal with this? And he said, oh, Mr. Husemann, don't worry. This young man has been so successful with us. At the moment, at the beginning, we let him repair cars, and then we found out how we can easily break into a car. He was very well aware of all the technology in the cars, etc. And then he became an auto salesperson, and he became the best automotive dealer they had in the company. He, in the end, became an official, got a official car. Then he came back to Germany and joined vocational training in an automotive company, and he had self-confidence and had taken the right decisions. And you can see that I'm an enthusiastic European, and I was also involved in youth work early on in my life, and to see how you can win people over. And here ALMA for me is fantastic. I mean, we in our unit we worked for years on these projects, and we noticed that the integration rate is fantastic. Every German unemployment program, unemployment prevention program can really only be envious. So more than half of them go back to school or go for training course and so on. So this is now continued by the ALMA program, and this has convinced me that this is a good idea. And it was good that now that we have ALMA, we can follow this up at the national level. I do not want to live without such programs. I think we need this type of program. We need to convince our youth of the European idea. You all know that the European idea was not something that came without work. We have to work hard to continue this, and ALMA and JUVENTUS are building stones that can be used for this awareness raising process. And if you see how enthusiastic young people are once they mastered this internship, how proud they are of themselves, etc. And if you then talk about this and we talk to the operators, they say, yes, it's very bureaucratic, and we try to eliminate red tape, but at the same time they are in touch with these young people, and this is satisfactory because the authorities also and the operators notice there is success in this, and that's why we have to work hard and to continue. And this is ALMA, this is JUVENTUS, and I'm very grateful to all of you that you pursue this line of activity. And if you see all this bureaucracy and the administrative procedures, well, is it really worth it? Yes. I'm really happy that you are prepared to accept this workload, and when you have to fill in all these forms, think of me, Mr. Hosemann, do it for me. No, this was only joking, of course. Mrs. Levy.
Ms. Levy, the last 2 hours, what do you recall if you look back on these 2 hours?
For sharing this enthusiasm. Indeed, this is what we should keep in mind. Yeah, you ask about a wrap-up. It's not so much a wrap-up, but a few things I've picked up from what has been said this afternoon, not in a specific order, but to start with an encouraging news. I think it was nice to hear that almost 50% of the participants here have already started to implement ALMA. So that was through Slido. I noted this down. That was a very good news, I think. Then, yeah, the challenges. We heard quite a lot about the challenges, and they are numerous, so I'm not going to hide behind the mic, for example. It's clear We said this already, it's complicated, but it's precisely because of these challenges that it's so important to have this network, and this has been said also, because you can share the difficulties, but also the solutions, the ideas. So I think it's very important indeed to have this network. Another thing, unrelated but very important as well, one of the panel participants mentioned that with Juventus, with ALMA, and before that with TLN, what was important was to develop not only the skills of the participants but their personality. So it's much wider. It's a much wider program than what we're used to. I think this is key, considering the specificities of the target public. It's wider than just skills. It's really personality to help them rebound in their lives, so to speak, and not only even the professional life, but also personal life. So it's really far-reaching. And then to end, and again, I said there is no logical link between the various points, but just to clarify, because I think this is important, the call, which is managed by the Lithuanian agency at EU level, is the only EU level call. It's the only one, because there was a question, when is the next one coming? Well, there is no other call planned at EU level, because it's really seen as a pilot call, and hopefully we'll be able to build on the results of the project selected through this call. So let's be clear, the other calls will have to be launched within the member states, either at national or regional level. So this is very important to keep in mind. And then I will answer to the question you didn't ask, but you asked the previous speakers what I'm looking for after this meeting. Well, precisely, I'm looking for the results of the calls, and in fact, not so much the results of the calls, but the results of the project which will be selected through this call, because I think that it will be very useful for the further build-up of other projects. So with this, I'll stop. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this wrap-up and the additional information. And yeah, so good to have you here. Dankeschön, Herr Husemann, für Ihren Enthusiasmus. Die Motivation, die nehmen wir auf jeden Fall.
Thanks, Mr. Husemann. Thanks for your enthusiasm. That's your applause.
Ja, an dieser Stelle muss ich mich
So, I have to say goodbye. Goodbye to those who have been following us on the stream. I'd like to thank all those who joined us online. Thanks for your attention. I hope you will take lots of this meeting with you, lots of the enthusiasm. So on behalf of all of us who are here in the room, let me wish you all the best and a good time. Thanks for having joined us.